Good evening. This is Justin Clockey reporting live from the field on the Burke and Paine dispute. In recent days, the arguments between Edmund Burke and Thomas Paine have grown intense. Americans know Paine best for common sense, with its legendary assault on monarchy and its liberating call for independence. Arguably, the Burke, whom we should know best, is the brilliant parliamentary critic of the many errors the British government committed in America before 1776. There is no sharper assessment of everything George III and his ministers were getting wrong about America than Burke's famous March 1775 speech for reconciliation. Yet the Paine and Burke we know have recently split in their friendship due to their interest to another revolution, the upheaval that erupted in France in July 1789. Both men took up the pen and began what we like to call today the Great Debate. Burke's reflections on the revolution in France denounced the destructive tendencies the French seemed bound to release. In direct response, Paine published Rights of Man in 2 volumes in March 1791 and in February 1792.
Right.
For English-speaking readers, these works framed the basic debate over the French Revolution that dominated politics and political thinking on both sides of the Atlantic for the next decade and longer. I have with me here today one supporter of Burke and one supporter of Paine.
Yeah, there.
Conveniently living in the same house.
Yes.
Good evening to you both.
Hi.
Let's start with you, Bernard. What makes you such an adamant supporter of Edmund Burke?
Well, I feel that Mr. Burke understands the problems of rapid and radical change in France. He understands that if you want things to change, then it must be evolutionary and not revolutionary.
But many have questioned Burke's views towards rights. He seems to have conflicting views about them at some times.
Not really. When it comes to rights of an individual, they are bound to a national framework that evolves around one society. Yes, they may be unequal in some cases, but this is because inequality is all around us.
That brings up the question of equality. Josiah, why does Paine appeal to you? And how do you feel about his beliefs on equality?
Well, first of all, I gotta thank you for putting it on your show. Number one thing is that Paine, he don't use all them fancy words that you hear him speaking over there. And I can really get down and understand him. But most of all, we're all equal. That's just number one right there. I don't know what he's spewing.
The only thing that's natural is inequality. Look around us. No one is truly equal to the man they're standing next to. In fact, why should we even waste our time and talk about equality and pointless things like that? There are more important and pressing issues we should be attending to, like breakfast.
But surely you think liberty is an important issue. Liberty is an essential part of the English Constitution.
Yes, you are right. But liberty is dependent on other parts of society. It is only one element of society. Before it comes order, justice, and regard for property. For liberty to exist, all of those things must work together and balance out, like bacon and eggs.
Josiah, your thoughts on liberty?
Well, first of all, my problem with Burke is basically everything he just said. I didn't understand it, and I didn't understand it. But shoot, liberty, you either have it or you have it. This is how it is.
All right.
But I believe in 2 things mainly. That's freedom and equality.
All right. Well, I have one more question for you both. Bernard, how do you feel about constitutions?
Well, I'm going to use some more big words. I hope that's okay. They're reflections of the societies you live in. And any simpleton would know that. And they must concentrate around the natural orders that society creates. Without this fundamental truth, anarchy will be given free rein.
Well, what are your thoughts about Bernard's views?
I got 3 words for you. I got freedom, equality, and freedom.
Well, that's all the time we have. Thank you, gentlemen, for being with me tonight. I'm Justin Clockey, reporting live.
It's a free breakfast.